Oklahoma death row prisoner Scott Eizember is executed for a double murder that happened nearly 20 years ago. Good evening. I'm Tatum Gwynn.
And I'm Craig Day. AJ and Patsy Cantrell's grandson says the past 2 decades have been a nightmare for the family, and it's unfortunate it took so long to get to this point. Scott Eizember broke into the Cantrell's home in Depew in 2003 to spy on his girlfriend, and when they came home to their home and found him, he killed them. That crime led to a 37-day manhunt for Eizember, which is the longest in state history. While on the run, Eizember shot his ex-girlfriend's teenage son, beat up her mother, and kidnapped another couple before he was finally arrested. Justin Wyatt is the Cantrell's grandson. He says today was a good day for victims.
I do know that I'm glad that our enemy is dead. Some battles we're forced to fight in life, and they can only have one ending. Make no mistake about it, we won that battle today.
The Cantrell family says they know Eizember's loved ones are victims as well, and they are praying for peace for them.
News on 6's Lori Fulbright has been covering this case for 2 decades and was in the execution chamber today as a witness. Afterwards, she sat down with AJ and Patsy's daughter for a story that you'll only see on 6.
Debra Wyatt says today was not a day of joy or celebration for them. It was just one of relief that this chapter, this horrible chapter in their lives, is finally closed. She says she's tired. She's tired of fighting for justice. She's tired for fighting for a murderer to be held accountable, and she's really tired of the focus being on him and not her parents.
I don't know how I made it here, and but I made it through.
Debra Wyatt says her family never asked for any of this. Her parents, AJ and Patsy Cantrell, were random, innocent victims who never did anything but raise a family and do good for their community. She says their lives touched so many people, and their deaths left a hole that could never be filled.
I'll never forget, when we first had to enter that house after it was cleaned up by crime scene cleanup people, and there still was a bloody handprint on the wall.
She says her family didn't want this execution out of revenge, but because they believe it was a fitting punishment for the vile nature of the crime. She says the death penalty should never take this long because it puts victims' families through decades of torture.
And every time, when something got delayed, my heart would just sink, and I was like, please, is this ever going to be over?
In his final words, Debra did not hear an apology for the lives taken or for the years of grief caused, just more of a killer not accepting responsibility for his crimes.
It's hard to listen to what he said and not be hurt by it still.
Debra has been a champion for other victims, speaking to groups all over the state, even earning the governor's commendation. But all she's ever wanted was for her parents to have lived out their lives in peace. Her dad was widely known for his music and artwork, and her mother was a woman of deep faith. And they raised their girls on the Circle Drive Ranch on Highway 66. A good life until violence changed it all.
It's been a journey, quite a journey. And I wouldn't want anybody to have to travel this road, ever.
A lot of people don't know this, but Debra's sister was also murdered, and they buried her just a couple of days before the murder trial began for her parents' murder. And she has MS, a condition that's made much worse by stress, and she's had more than her fair share of stress in the last 20 years. So she's ready to just spend time with her family. And one day, she does plan to write a book about her parents and this case. In McAllister, Lori Fulbright, Oklahoma's Own News on 6.